Religion of progressivism. A religion doesn't really require a belief of God. I know you think it, I thought it did at first, but then people brought up like Buddhists, they don't believe in God, but that's a religion. It's just mostly a firm belief that you don't necessarily have to believe in facts or science, but it's a faith. And the key doctrines I think we see of the progressivism, to the degree that it's really religious, is the equality of mankind, everyone's the same, and democracy, which kind of feeds into each other. And all major political parties really support this idea. The Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, Marxists, Tea Parties, oh yeah, they hate each other and they come at it a different way, but they all support, yeah, man's really, we're all basically equal, and democracy, everyone needs a voice. They all believe that in general, so that's kind of the religion of it. And what I call a Puritanism without God. And I grew up, again, I went to a Christian school, and I was in that environment for a while. And there's really a nature in Christianity, if you're not familiar with it, of original sin. That means we're sinners, we're born that way, we're inherently bad people, and we need redemption because we're just evil worms, and we just need to somehow, get penance or purification. And I saw that when I see all this wacky stuff out there with this white guilt, and those guys out there, right? They're religious. They really are. That's why they fight it. It's not political. This is a religion. And they turned it around that whites, men, heterosexuals, cisgenders. You guys know cisgender. Some of you guys don't know what cisgender is. Who's here is cisgender? Can I see you? I am. You're not cisgender? Cisgender means you're just the person that you're, like I'm a cisgender, meaning I'm a man trapped in a man's body. That's cisgender, okay? You think I'm making this up, I'm not. These guys out there, that's what they believe in all this weird stuff. So if you're a man in a man's body, that you have cis privilege, and it's kind of weird in their point of view. So you need redemption. How do you do redemption? Well, you years ago you'd flog yourself, wear a hair shirt or something. Now you put markings across your face. That was a video I did called the Unfair Campaign, where white people were encouraged to say how horrible they were because they were white. And you have these conferences, and really what it is like a ritual purification. You're trying to atone for your original sin. That is so theology that I grew up with. I understood it. I mean, it's this exactly. And the whole righteous judgment thing, we grew up, there's going to be the rapture. God's going to come. He's unhappy with us. He's going to punish your evil humans. That happens with the leftists now. Global warming, and global warming, do you guys know this? This is the leading cause of documentaries in the United States. So it's a very dangerous thing. But you have the whole doomsday cult, like we're just evil people, we're all going to die, and we deserve it because we're white and evil, and that's what those guys are, and I never understood that, but it's the religious feeling they really have. Okay, the neo-reactionaries or the Dark Enlightenment, you hear something called the cathedral, and they don't mean it in a religious sense, so don't be offended if you're Catholic, Protestant, or whatever. I'm a Protestant, it's not meant to be that. But what the cathedral is an organic collection of major universities like Harvard, Yale, no offense, Jared, but and the media and the government to promote the doctrine and to punish heresy. And the difference between heresy and aberrant ideas, I lost my darn notes. Someone stole them, so I'll have to do this off the top of my head. But for example, let's say the race issue, and you see difference of racial performance between, let's say, blacks and whites, or blacks and Asian, right? Or blacks and Jews. The orthodox position with liberals is, well, the reason is because of centuries of white racism, and they're put down, and they weren't given a chance. So you got to understand that's why we can explain it. That's the orthodox position. Now, the aberrant position, which is tolerated, but the liberals would consider this aberrant, is like what the Tea Party would say, or the Republicans. What would the Republicans say to that? There was like, well, no, the reason we see the difference is because, big government needs to get off the back of the black folks. That's what's really causing the problems. We have these welfare programs, whatever. If we just have, I think Jack Kemp was like, let's have an enterprise tax zone in ghettos, and man, they're just going to explode productivity and so forth. So that's an aberrant. The liberals would disagree with that and say, boo, Republicans. But they both have the same thing. Republicans and Democrats, all mankind is equal, but they just approach it as a different reason why that could be. But heresy is like, well, maybe not everyone is equal, I mean, it's just possible. And that's like, well, wait a minute, that's getting religious at that point. And when you violate the religion, they get very angry. Let's just say like Muslims or Christians used to be that way, but those guys, right? That's a religious feeling they have, and they may not believe in God, and they may hate God and hate Christianity, but they're very religious people. Okay, the heresy hunters. This is like the SPLC and all those people, right? They're like the witch hunters back in the Puritan times, where they look to find heresy and punish heresy. And you got to understand, they don't think they're bad guys. They think that the reason things aren't working out is because, well, you guys, you're stopping things from working out, damn it. And so if they can just get rid of the heretics, we'll have this egalitarian system. So when they go out and search for witches, or modern day term for witches is racist or whatever, that's how they're thinking, that's their mindset. And they're called counter-revolutionaries, haters, supremacists, whites, but it's the same type of thing. It really comes from that Puritan mindset of, we have a crop failure. Well, it's because of that girl. She talked to a black cat, and that's their thinking is of why things go bad. And how they punish it is obviously they try social mostly, right? If you think of an idea that is not approved by the herd, well, you're an outcast, you're a loser, you're a weirdo, which I kind of am, but that's how they try to push you. Then they try to do economic, like if we do this, you'll lose your job, you'll be like Mel Gibson, right? He made that movie and it's like Passion of Christ, like, well, fine, you do that, you're not gonna make another film again, which he hasn't. So that's how they can try to do certain positions. In Britain, there's that guy, I couldn't believe how bad Britain is. This guy made a joke about Nelson Mandela. He said, if you guys saw that, he said, my computer's so slow to shut down, I'm gonna rename it Nelson Mandela. Okay. Kind of a stupid joke, but he put it on Twitter and it's like, no, the police got involved with that. And I'm like, but Britain looks like North Korea now. I'm not sure much of the difference really between the two. And then you have the gulags in the Soviet Union, and I don't have my notes, so I'll just improvise, but if you guys ever go to Budapest, there's a House of Terror Museum, which is fascinating. And what it is, it's an old secret police building they had in Budapest, where the communists used to take dissidents and they would torture them, put them in cells, and execute them. It's really fascinating. So if you do that, you could just see how really the evil and how they think about that. When they get in this mode, they just start killing everyone that they disagree with. Equality is just a total myth that I just can't get my hand around. I mean, I have 2 kids. So let's forget race. If you just have 2 kids, they're not equal. I've never seen 2 people are equal. And there's more evidence, literally. I would much believe in leprechauns before I would believe in equality. It's because there could be leprechauns. I've never seen one, but I'm 99.119999% sure there's no leprechauns. But there could be. But equality, I see everyone's different. That's just how it is. And I met a guy from Ireland here, and I asked him, are there still ignorant and superstitious people in Ireland that believe in leprechauns? And he goes, yeah. We call them American tourists. So. Okay, the SPLC guy, that's your anti-American joke. You can write that down. Let's see here. Okay, equality, but this drives everything. Racism, sexism, ageism, homophobia, whatever. It's because of a lack of equality. But if you understand that people are different, like the NFL, the reason there's probably not women in the NFL is not because of some patriarchy, It's because there's differences, okay? Let's just accept that. Or I'm 50 years old. Do you think there's going to be a 50-year-old guy in the NFL? No, because, hey, I admit it, I wish I was 20 again, but when you get older, you get a little slower and everything. That's just the way life is. And there's biological differences between the races, and we saw that today and so forth. And so, but if you think your premise is that we have equality and everyone's really basically the same, then you have to devise all these weird reasons why things aren't coming out equal. And so it's just a total myth. But that's like the religious aspect that we see right now is equality. And I remember it came back to Luther, right? Because we all have equality before God and we can all go to God. That was the spiritual equalitarianism. I'm not going to get into religious debate, but that started the whole concept of equality.
Would you like to know more?